Happy Wonder Wednesday. Do you ever wonder what courage can help us do?
When I have a worry-filled mind, I like to wander outside. No telling what we might find. Birds calling, worms crawling, leaves falling down from above. Oh, I plant my feet on the ground. I keep my head in the clouds. I let my feelings out loud. I hear joy calling, fear crawling, tears falling down out of love.
I'm so glad you're here. My name is Mrs. A, and I am really looking forward to starting the day with you. I wanted to begin by doing a feelings check-in. We all experience lots of different feelings or emotions throughout the day. There are no good or bad feelings. There are just lots of different ways that our body and our brain can respond to different things around us or respond to different messages from our brain. And so we experience lots of feelings and emotions as a way of responding to those things. And sometimes we experience feelings or emotions that seem sudden or out of nowhere. And that's okay too. And so I'd like you to listen to your body for just a minute and try to identify what emotion or feeling you're feeling. There are so many different types of feelings. I have just some of them on a poster that I've made here. But as you are looking to identify your feeling or emotion, I'd like you to remember that you may not look like the character on the poster, but your feelings should match. For example, if I was showing you this face, what might I be feeling? Yeah, maybe angry, maybe frustrated. Yeah. What about if I was showing you this face? What do you think? I might be feeling shy, or worried, or anxious, maybe unsure. Yeah. What about if I was showing you this face and body language? What do you think I'm feeling? Confident, strong. Yeah, I'm feeling ready to take on the day. I'm feeling filled with confidence or courage. Now, I'd like you to look at the poster and all the different feelings on there and see which one matches the feeling you're feeling right now. Remember, our feelings can change from minute to minute. And so I want you to just think about how you're feeling right now, not how you were feeling earlier or how you think you'll be feeling later. Practicing identifying our feelings in the moment can be really helpful for our brain and our body. It can also be really helpful for the people around us. So once you've found your emotion, go ahead and say it out loud. If you're not sure how to read it yet, ask a grown-up. I am feeling really curious today. Curious about all the different feelings that you are noticing and experiencing. Curious about what courage can help us do. And curious about the different people who helped to solve some really big problems. We'll talk more about that soon. Will you share your feeling out loud? Thank you so much for doing that. Now that we've taken some time to identify and maybe understand or communicate our feelings, I'd like us to check the date because we have to move our bodies and do some exercises. Today, for me, it is 2/9/22. Do you remember what the second month in our year is? February, yes. And it is the 9th day in February, where I am, and it is the 2022nd year on our calendar. And so we're going to do 2 moves, then 9 moves, then 22 moves. And Big's going to help us with one of them. do you think Fig is showing us? Maybe try to make this shape with your body and see what kind of moves or exercises you can think of. We're going to use their move when we get to number 9. But to warm us up, we're going to start with 2 push-ups. And you can do these push-ups on the floor if you lay flat, or you can do these push-ups on a wall, whatever is comfortable for you or whatever you have space for. We're going to do 2 push-ups, and we're going to count by 2s as we do them. Let's get started. Ready? 2. Now, as I mentioned, we're going to use Fig's move for our 9 things. Fig, what should we do 9 of? Arm circles. Thanks, Fig. Friends, you can do arm circles sitting or standing, whatever feels best. All you have to do is stick out your arms nice and wide and straight, and we're going to rotate them in circles. You can go at the same time, or you can alternate, whatever feels best. Let's do 9 arm circles. This time we'll count by 1s, because 9 is an odd number. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Oh, thanks, Fig. And thanks, friends. Last, we have 22 moves to do. And this one is best standing up if you're able. Let's do 22 squats. And again, we are going to count by 2s because it's an even number. So let's practice together. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, almost there. 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22. Oh, my arms and my legs feel very warmed up. And now I'd like to cool back down. So if you'd take some cool down breaths with me, you can listen for my bell and then breathe in big and slowly let it out. Let's do it. Fantastic. I'm glad we were able to build up some muscles. Thanks for doing that with me. At the beginning of this episode, I asked you about courage. And we're going to talk about courage a lot this month. And courage is a really big thing. It's all about being brave and acting in times that may be scary or may make us afraid. But having courage can help solve problems. It can help take care of people. It can help make people safe. And so having courage is super important. And it's not just for made-up superheroes. Courage is something that lives in all of us. And today I want to talk a bit more about courage and some really important and courageous people. So let's check out my message to learn more. Remember, in my messages, there are often alliterations, words that start with the same letters or sounds that are next to each other. And there are also going to be some onomatopoeias coming up soon. Onomatopoeias are sound words like zap and bang. So be on the lookout for any onomatopoeias or alliterations. Another way you can practice courage is as you are reading and writing. Reading is really difficult. It takes courage to learn new things, and writing is just as tricky. And so if you are feeling challenged by reading or writing or just learning new things in general, you can be courageous and brave and do it anyway. Dear brave and beautiful friends, even though there are sad, scary, and uncomfortable things that happen, there are always kind, compassionate and courageous people to help. Phew! Where would our world be without people, young and old, that stand up for what is right and help others in need? While wondering about how people who were enslaved were able to break free, I've learned about an incredible person. There were and are many heroes and helpers, many of whom we may never know of or learn the names of. So let's take time to honor them today, too. Love, Mrs. A. Friends, being courageous, like I said, is something that we can all do. And today we're going to talk about a really courageous person, but there are so many courageous people in our world, in your community, in your family. And being courageous can be really helpful. Being brave and doing hard things can help not only the world or the people around you, but it can also help you too. And today we're going to talk about a really courageous person who helped people who were enslaved break free. Now maybe you were with me earlier in the week when we talked about American slavery. And that was a really heavy and hard thing to talk about and learn about. But when we learn about heavy and hard things, not only do we grow our brain, we also grow our heart. And so I'm hoping that as we continue to talk about these things and discover and learn about people who are courageous and brave, we'll continue to grow our brains and grow our hearts. And today I want to share with you some books about Harriet Tubman. I have 3 books here, and they're all really different. So I want to give you a preview of some and share some pages with you from some others. The first book I have here is one of my favorites. It's a part of a collection or a series. This is called Little Leaders, Bold Women in Black History. And it's written and illustrated by Vashti Harrison. And I love Vashti's work. I have this book, Little Leaders, Bold Women in Black History. I have another book called Little Dreamers, Bold Men in Black History. And Vashti Harrison has put out so many other great books and resources that have helped me learn a lot. So you should definitely check her out and all of the books she has to offer. We're going to turn just to this page here, because in this book there are so many leaders, Black women, past and present, who have helped change our world for the better. And as I said, today we're going to talk about Harriet Tubman, but if you grab this book from your bookstore or library, you'll be able to learn about so many more. Harriet Tubman was born in 1822, and she lived until 1913. She was an abolitionist. That means somebody who fought to make people free. A nurse. She took care of people who were sick or hurt. A scout. She looked for ways to travel and to be safe. And a spy. One of 9 children, Harriet was born into slavery under the name Araminta Harriet Ross. Both her parents were West Africans, hailing from the Ashanti warrior people. While many of her siblings were sold and traded to distant plantations or farms, one good fortune Harriet had was to remain united with her parents throughout her youth. When she was 15, Harriet was accidentally hit in the head with an iron weight and fell into a coma for 3 days. A coma is something that is like a really long sleep. It could last a few days, it could last a few months, or even a few years. Her brain injury resulted in narcolepsy, a permanent disorder that caused her to fall asleep at random times. Fearing that her slave owner would eventually discover her injury, she decided to run away to avoid the risk of being sold or traded. I'm just going to pause here for a minute. Harriet is still young here. When she was 15, still a kid. So not only was she enslaved, but she had a really bad injury. And this is just the beginning of her story. After escaping to freedom in 1849, Harriet could have stayed in the North. But now that she knew it was possible to escape, she wanted to return for her family and anyone else she could rescue. Over the course of 11 years, she returned to the South 13 times and led more than 70 men, women, and children to freedom and safety via the secret system called the Underground Railroad. Known as a conductor, Harriet never lost a passenger on her journeys. Even though it was dangerous, Harriet continually put her life at risk to save others. The Underground Railroad wasn't really underground, but it was a set of secret locations and spots, from the south, where people were enslaved, up to the north, where people were free. And so Harriet helped rescue people who were enslaved and help them escape through this Underground Railroad. It wasn't the last time that she risked her life to save others. During the Civil War, Harriet served as an army nurse and went undercover as a spy for the North. Harriet was always looking to help other people. What very little she had, she gave away to others. She lived in poverty most of her life and donated her time, money, and property to people in need. In 2016, the U.S. Treasury announced a historic proposal to change the $20 bill. It would replace the longtime face of it, Andrew Jackson, with Harriet, making her the first woman on the front of any U.S. paper currency. Hopefully we'll be seeing Harriet Tubman's face soon on some of our money, our U.S. paper currency. And we can be reminded anytime we see her or hear her name of how brave and courageous she was, and how she helped people escape being enslaved and go to freedom. Now that gives us a little bit of information, kind of like a snapshot of her life. But this book here, I Am Harriet Tubman by Brad Metzler, illustrated by Christopher Eliopoulos, is a bit like a graphic novel or a comic. And this tells us a little bit in more detail about Harriet and her life. So we have early on when she's young. We have her after her injury. And we have her here escaping and going to the north. And if you grab this book, you'll get a little bit more information and learn a bit more about the history of Harriet Tubman and her life as a brave and courageous person. And last but not least, a book that's new to me that I really think is beautiful is called Before She Was Harriet, and it's by Lisa Klein Ransom, illustrated by James E. Ransom. And what I think is so beautiful about this book is not only the illustrations, but the way the story is told. It starts out showing us Harriet Tubman as she is an older woman, and it walks us backwards. And so it says, before she was Harriet. And so we'll look at a few pages together to get the idea, but you should also grab this book if you are curious to learn more about Harriet Tubman. Before she was an old woman, she was a suffragist, a voice for women who had none, in marriages, in courts, in voting booths. Before her voice became soft and raspy, it was loud and angry, rising above injustice. A suffragist was somebody who fought so women could vote. Now, many of you may be familiar with the elections that occur in the United States, and people can go vote. One person, one vote. But not long ago, women were not allowed to vote. And Harriet Tubman served as a suffragist. She worked to make sure that women could vote. Before she was a Union spy, she was a nurse, caring for those hit with bullets and hatred and fear, tending to them with bandages and words in the bloody dirt of Southern soil. Harriet was a real helper, a really brave caregiver, a nurse, a suffragist, someone who helped people escape. Here's the final page we'll read together. Before she was a nurse, she was Aunt Harriet, daughter of Ben and Rit, who helped her parents flee their master and find their way through woods and streams to the safety of Canada and a new home in the north. She was so courageous to do all of these things and to help all of these people. And I think what's really cool is that Harriet Tubman is still helping and inspiring and encouraging people even after she's passed on. That's really powerful. And so I think courage can help us do a lot. It can solve some really big problems and help a lot of really important people right in front of us and beyond. So friends, I want to leave you with some encouragement for our mindful moment today. Because courage takes heart. It takes us doing things that may be difficult or scary or tricky, and it requires us to do them anyway, to be brave. And so I wanted us to do a mindful moment today called Heart Breath. And all we have to do is rest our hands over our heart. You can rest both hands or one, whatever is more comfortable. And I'd like you to sit up tall. You can close your eyes if that feels good, or you can just lower your head. And as you put your hand or hands over your heart, we're going to breathe in deeply through our nose and breathe out slowly through our nose as well. And we're going to do this for 5 breaths. And I want you to think about this heart that you have that's beating and strong. And I want you to think about the word courage. Go ahead and sit with that word as you breathe in and out 5 times. Let's do it. Three more breaths. One more big, brave, courageous breath. Thank you so much for taking that mindful moment. What's something you noticed about your brain or your body as you were breathing? Did you think of the word courage? Me too. I was trying to really just focus on that word, and I'm hoping that I'm able to do some courageous things. I'm hoping that focusing on the word courage can help inspire me to be brave, even when it's a little scary. I hope it does the same for you. Friends, would you please like and subscribe so we can learn more about courage and brave people together? And make sure you make it a great rest of the day. Sending you off with some love if you'd like it, a hug if you want it. I can't wait to see you next time.